do know, if you've been in Afghanistan, it wasn't really the Afghans that were doing most of the trouble. It was everybody else. It was all these jihadists coming in there and trying to kill Americans. Yeah. Just like when I was in Iraq, I got shot by more Iranians in the beginning than I did Iraqis. They were shooting at us all the time because they were paying money to go on the border right there with the fence and shooting across the Shat al-Arab and trying to get us across the river. The Tigris Euphrates, and they come down, and then you have that one strip. Well, the Iranians were shooting across at us, and all the time. But we weren't allowed to talk about that. But they're jihadists, and they just want to kill Americans. Yeah. It's a bonus for them. They get bonuses, I guess, when they go to heaven or something, which is ridiculous. It's an Abrahamic religion. We're also part of the Abrahamic religions. Why can't we all get along or something like that? But the whole point of the story is the fact that I didn't shoot right away, and the guy I was in trouble. They were like, "Why did you do that? You brought us all in danger." I was like, "No, I was right there. I was controlled situation. It's not a big deal." And plus, now I met this dude, and he's a really good guy, and we're getting good intel off it. But the point of the story is about here in America. You walk around America, and everybody's fighting. Everybody's talking about phobias. Everybody's calling everybody Nazis. It's all this huge fight. You walk around the street, and you're lucky if you don't get beat up if you're late at night, and you're white or black or Asian or this or that. If you're different, if you're an other, and Courtney brought this up, if you get the term othered put onto you, you're going to get it. Because that label is that dangerous label. And that's America right now. And so every time I talk, when I give these speeches out in front of these huge groups of people, and I do that, like 5 to 10 big speeches a year, which is pretty good for me because I'm just living off my disability and stuff, So if I can give a speech and I can make a little money off it, it's a pretty good deal. And I give leadership stuff and I do motivation stuff. But this is one of the stuff I talk about, is the fact that in America, we're all walking around, we never give anybody a chance. I said, I'm walking in there as an alien and a caveman on the ground with nothing. I gave him 3 seconds. I said, we don't do that for each other. Automatically, if you saw me as a transgender person and you would just want to fight me or you want to do something. And I had team guys start trying to pick fights with me and doing a lot of stuff. And it was just like, I didn't do anything. Well, I actually did do something with all that, and I feel bad about that. But we do that for everybody. For black and white, for Asian, for Latino, for all of it. We're all fighting. We never give each other even 3 seconds to have a conversation or just look at you and say, hey, you're a human being. I'm not going to walk up to you like this and just start punching you in the face. Yeah. How about you give me 3 seconds? And so I ask everybody out there, I say, you'll never, on anywhere around the world, mostly, very rarely will you ever see, somebody as far apart as that alien in that caveman on that rooftop. I gave him 3 seconds. So why can't you do the same? Just give everybody you meet 3 seconds. How about you start with a smile instead of a grimace? There's this one rapper that said his whole life changed when all he did was just change his eyebrows. I can't remember who it was, but he was always like that, and always like trying to be that tough guy, just always like, and you do it, you purposely squint like that, and I can look really mean, and I can go up to you, and I can mad dog you. And most of those rappers are all doing that mad dog stuff. All he did was lift his eyebrows, and he did that, and everybody changed. Everybody started talking to him differently, and he started treating everybody differently, and his whole life changed. And I ask everybody out there, 3 seconds. I was able to do it in the most critical, whack, life and death situations.
Yeah.
And it's not a big thing to ask. Is that we all start smiling a little bit, just like that guy did, and changed his life, just lifted his eyebrows a little bit and started being, how about a smile? How about open your hands up out of them fists and talking to each other? Now, how you see transgender people right now is the way I hope a lot of other people start seeing them. There's a lot of folks out there that are hurting. And the thing is every time you or scowl or you talk to a transgender person because they're looking just whack or whatever's going on, and you make fun of them or do anything like that, what you're doing is you're pushing, you're punching them. And then as soon as they get punched, they're going to sit there and they're going to talk to their trans community and the whole community, and they get hugely love-bombed. And all it does is just make the gap wider. So every time you're all out there in public, you aren't smiling with those transgender people, just give them a break. They don't need to be beat up. They're beating themselves up enough. You don't need to beat them up. They're getting beat up by everybody else. So if you can do it, if you're a human, and you have just the slightest bit of compassion, how about you start being a little nicer? How about you give that person a break and start trying to close that gap up a little bit? How about if you're black or white, you give it a break and start closing that gap up a little bit? If you're Latino or Asian or whatever, how about you give it all a break? We're not all racist. Most of us aren't. Most of us are poor, and most of us are rich, and that's the division. It had nothing about race, and nothing about religion or nothing about gender, nothing about any of that. The only enemies right now is rich and poor. You know, and always been that way. We're the slaves to them, and it's all we are. And so if we start looking at each other and start saying, hey, we're the same. Hey, dude, you're good. You're a good dude. I've talked to you now for 3 seconds. All right? And then we shake hands. And it's black and white. There's man and woman, or gay and straight, or trans and not trans. And whatever. When you start closing those gaps up, because we don't shoot, we give them a few seconds, we might start finding out that America's a pretty cool place.
Yeah.
But right now it's a cesspool. Right now it's all fights. And CNN's doing it. And Fox is doing it. And all we're doing is fighting. And we got to stop that. You got to start offering your hand out. When you see that transgender person in that grocery store, just leave them alone. You don't need to make fun of them. They already get enough of that. They get enough of that in a mirror. So please, all I say, if you listen to this whole thing, and you make it here to the end, just, would you chill out a little bit? Would you start being a little friendlier to people? I don't hate anybody. I want everybody to do well, you know? And I want everybody to find happiness. I want everybody to find love. I did. I found love and happiness. And I give everybody at least 3 seconds, all the time, no matter what. No matter how they're coming at me, until they're like right there and I start feeling some danger, I'm still trying to give them some time, you know? And I plead with our country right now. We're at the precipice right now of a civil war. And you know it, and I know it, and a lot of people know it. We're at the precipice right now. But we don't have to fall over. We don't have to go there. We don't have to have another civil war. But we're gonna, if we keep going in this direction. I beg of you, give everybody 3 seconds. That's all I ask.
You're a good fucking human being, man.